So yesterday we completed chapter 7, knowledge of the absolute. In that we saw that how the Lord is going to tell samagram mam tatha jnasasu tatsrinu, the science of his own self. By knowing that knowledge of absolute, one will get attached to Krishna more and more. That's the knowledge of absolute truth, Krishna. Lord very beautifully describes it, how he is origin of everything. And being so, living it should always remain Krishna conscious. Yet because of influence of three modes of material nature, living entities are bewildered by this Devi Maya Shakti. Yet, Lord tells in 14th sloka of last chapter, and that anybody who want to cross beyond this Maya, they should take shelter of me. Devi Hiesha Gunamayima Maya Duratya. Then Lord describes there are some kind of people, they surrender to Krishna. The four kinds of people, pious people, they surrender to Krishna. Four kind of impious people, Duskirtana, they do not surrender to Krishna. Also Lord describes there are some people, those who surrender to Devatas because of their pity desires, and they surrender to Devatas because they have a very less brain substance. Alpamedasa. Because they think that what they are getting from Devatas, that will endure, but they are very, very futile. I mean, it goes for some number of days or month, whatever they get from Devatas, then they vanishes. They are not able to understand. That's why they are called Alpa Buddhyaha. And there are another kind of people, they are called Abuddhayaha, or Abuddhya means those who don't have brain. So they are people, those who claim Krishna to be ultimately impersonal, but now have taken the personal form. Mannante mam abuddhayaha avyaktam vyaktima bandham mannante mam abuddhayaha. So the Lord tells that anybody who really want to cross beyond this repeated cycle of birth and death, they should surrender unto Krishna. And in this way, they will be able to know what is Adhyatma, what is Adi Bhuta, what is Adi Daiva, what is Adi Yajna. And these very technical terms Krishna uses at the end of 7th chapter. So that creates the series of questions, the question in the mind of Arjuna. And then thereafter, Arjuna asked, what is this, Lord? You are telling Adi Bhuta, Adi Daiva, Adi Yajna. What are these things? And you told about Prayana Kale Pichamamte. At the time of death, somebody knows me. So in this way, he will be able to attain the perfection. So he will be able to know me. So everything is going to come in chapter 8. 8 questions are being asked by Arjuna. So then the 8 questions are answered by the Lord in 8th chapter. And the theme of the chapter is attaining the Supreme, as Srila Prabhupada has given the theme, attaining the Supreme. Here Lord is going to tell what is that principle upon which any living entity gets to their next destination in their life, in the next life. And attaining the Supreme also based upon that principle of remembrance at the last breath or at the end of the life. So that is going to discuss in this chapter. So let's begin with sloka first. Arjuna Vacha. So we shall have the same format as we had been discussing. I will recite the sloka and the translation, and one of you could read the purport. And it is mandatory that devotee, those who are attending these sessions, should keep their videos open. It's my humble request, keep the videos open. If you're not keeping your videos open, then it's one sense, it's like you are giving the message that I don't care what you speak. So, or else it's like offense in one sense, offense to Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and the person who is speaking, whoever he would be, maybe me or somebody else. So I kindly request all the devotees, kindly keep the videos open. Wherever, whatever position you are, keep the videos open. Fine. I remember one Maharaj, I don't want to tell the name. If in his class, if somebody keeps his videos off, Maharaj himself put him off. Off means out of the meeting. So don't make me not to fall in the footsteps that of Maharaj. Kindly keep the videos open. Achyuta Sokatma Prabhu, I am waiting for your response. Arjuna Uvacha Kim Tad Brahma Kim Madhatmam Kim Karma Purushottama Adhibhutam Cha Kim Proktam Adhidaivam Kim Uchyate. Translation. So before that I go ahead, I thought better have the breakdown of this chapter. So chapter 8, in which in verse 1 to 4, the first question, first sloka is the question of Arjuna, and from thereafter consecutive 3 slokas are the answers of Arjuna. Then from 5th sloka till 9th sloka discuss Krishna answers his 8th question about the destination of one who thinks of Krishna at the time of death. And he concludes, Lord concludes that, so what is the conclusion of all that? You should think always about me, even though you are fighting. You should remember me at the time when you are fighting. Never forget me. Yeah. So then Lord tells in verse 9 that how to meditate upon Krishna. From text 10 and 13 till 10 till 13, Yoga Mishra Bhakti is described by the Lord. How the yogi can attain Krishna by uttering Omkar and thinking of Krishna at the time of death. Yoga Mishra Bhakti. Yoga Mishra Bhakti means Bhakti is prominent, yoga is just a alloy. I mean, yoga is just a small little component of the main body of Bhakti. Yeah. So there is Yoga Mishra Bhakti or something called Bhakti Mishra Yoga, right? Bhakti Mishra Yoga means yoga is the main body, Bhakti is a little bit to complete for the successful completion of yoga. But here Bhakti is main, and yoga is a little bit. That's called Yoga Mishra Bhakti. Then from 14th sloka till 16th sloka, pure devotional service is described. And Lord tells Arjuna, you should engage yourself in pure devotional service without any deviation, remembering me always. And there is no impediment in such service. And this type of service, in pure devotional service, very fastly brings the jiva closer to Krishna in the vicinity of the Lord. So thereafter, from 17th sloka till 22nd sloka, a comparison between material and spiritual world is given. How material world is miserable and temporary, and it's characterized by a repeated cycle of birth and death of the jiva, as well as the birth and death of the universe itself. Bhutva, the bhutva, praliyate. Bhutva means creation, praliyate means destruction. This is the character of this material world. Why Lord is giving this characteristic? For the jivas to get detached from it. Because jivas, forgetting Krishna, they are supposed to always remain attached with Krishna, but they have got attached with this material world. They are hearing the description of material world, which is so temporary and miserable. Jivas should, in the heart of jiva, Lord want to inspire detachment. And from 3 slokas, like 20, 21, 22, 3 slokas, last 3 slokas in that section describes the eternal spiritual world, eternal nature of the spiritual world. And that also should inspire in the heart of Jiva to attain that and to work for that attainment of that spiritual abode. From 23 sloka till 28 sloka, supremacy of devotional service in attaining the Supreme is described. Yeah. The different types of karma yogis and jnana yogis, dhyana yogis. They attain to the Supreme in different way. But Lord Sri Krishna's devotee, they don't need to worry about so many technicalities of different paths, how they actually attain to the Supreme. Devotees, pure devotees, they need to just engage in loving devotion service of the Lord always. And they are pretty sure that they will attain their desired result at the end of their life. Okay, so now let's begin. Translation. Arjuna inquired, O my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman? What is the self? What are fruitive activities? What is this material manifestation? And what are the demigods? Please explain this to me. Purport. Who would like to do the purport?
Covered by His Divine Grace, teacher. In this chapter, Lord Krishna answered different questions from Arjuna, beginning with what is Brahman. The Lord also explained karma, fruitive activities, devotional service, and yoga principles, and devotional service in its pure form. The Srimad Bhagavatam explained that the Supreme Absolute Truth is known as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. In addition, the living entity, the individual soul, is also called Brahman. Arjuna also inquired about Atma, which refers to body, soul, and mind. According to the Vedic dictionary, Atma refers to mind, soul, body, and senses also. Arjuna has addressed the Supreme Lord as Purushottama, Supreme Person, which means that he was putting these questions not simply to a friend, but a Supreme Person, knowing him to be the Supreme Authority able to give definitive answers. Krishna Prabhu.
Oh, sorry. So I was muted, I was speaking. So Kim Tad Brahma, what is Brahman? Kim Adhyatma, what is the self? Kim Karma, what is fruitive activities? What are fruitive activities? And the fourth question is, what is this material manifestation? Adi Bhuta and Adi Daiva, the demigods. So total how many questions are asked into this sloka? What is Brahman? What is Adhyatma? What is Karma? What is Adi Bhuta? Material manifestation, what is Adi Daiva? What are the demigods? 5 questions are asked into this particular sloka. So Srila Prabhupada writes that Brahma having the two connotations, right? Brahma means either Supreme Lord Brahma as well as the soul Brahma. Both are called to be Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi, right? So the pure devotees are transcendently situated on the Brahman platform. They know everything about transcendental activities. The Lord has told this in last chapter, in the 29th verse. That so pure devotees, they know everything. What is Brahma, what is Adhyatma, what is Adideva. And that's why it's very important for all of us to also know it very well. What is this Adhyatma, Adidaiva, Adibhuta, Adiyagya? So Baldev Vidyabhushan analyzes Krishna's remaining questions as follows. What is Adhyatma? Arjuna asks, what is Adhyatma? Ask if the Adhyatma, the self, pertains to the gross or subtle body. What is karma? Karma refers to fruitive spiritual activity, and why, if they're equivalent, he should fight. So, Lord Arjuna is asking these questions to differentiate between his activities now, what he is going to do, the fight, and activities of many other living, those who are working on fruitive activities platform. What is karma? What is Adibhuta? Adibhuta means physical things, what we are able to see by our eyes. So, like some movable objects or immovable objects, living beings. Adi Daiva, the governor of demigods. So prefix in everything you see this prefix adhi used, adhi. One definition of adhi is above or over and above. So Arjuna is asking about the identity of adhi, the one above or ruling over the body, the physical manifestation and demigods. So when it is adhi atma, means who is ruling over the body, mind, senses, and the soul. So atma having one word atma can have many meanings. Atma could mean atma the soul, atma could mean the body, atma could mean the mind, atma could also mean the intelligence, atma could also mean the senses. So who is ruling over this? Adi atma. Adi bhuta means who are ruling over this living entities, physical manifestations around us. Then Adi Daiva, who is ruling over the demigods. So the next verse, again, 3 more questions. The total 8 questions Arjuna will ask. Adi Yagya. Adi Yagya katham kotra dehesmin madhusudana prayana kale cha katham geyosi niyatatmabhihi. Adi Yagya. Translation: who is the Lord of sacrifice and how does he live in the body? So 7, and the 8th one is, O Madhusudan, how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? So total 8 questions. What?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Please read.
Lord of sacrifice may refer to either Indra or Vishnu. Vishnu is the chief of the primal demigods, including Brahma and Shiva. And the Indra is the chief of the administrative demigods. Both Indra and Vishnu are worshipped by Yajna performances. But here Arjuna asks who is actually the Lord of Yajna, sacrifices, and how the Lord is residing within the body of the living entity. Arjuna addresses the Lord as Madhusudana because Krishna once killed a demon named Madhu. Actually, these questions, which are the nature of doubts, should not have arisen in the mind of Arjuna because Arjuna is a Krishna conscious devotee. Therefore, these doubts are like demons. Since Krishna is so expert in killing demons, Arjuna here addresses him as Madhusudan so that Krishna might kill the demoniac doubts that arise in Arjuna's mind. Now, the word Prayana Kale in this verse is very significant because whatever we do in life will be tested at the time of death. Prabhuji, can you scroll?
Ram Chaitanya Prabhu. Who is sharing? I think Ram Chaitanya Prabhu sharing. Prabhu, could you scroll it? Haribol. We are missing him. Ram Chaitanya Prabhu.
I will open in my sorry, it is scrolled. Okay. Arjuna is very anxious to know of those who are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness. What should be their position at that final moment? At the time of death, all the bodily functions are disrupted, and the mind is not in a proper condition, thus disturbed by the bodily situation, one may not be able to remember the Supreme Lord. Maharaj Kulashekara, a great devotee, prayers, my dear Lord, just now I am quite healthy, and it is better that I die immediately so that the swan of my mind can seek entrance at the stem of your lotus feet. The metaphor is used because the swan, a bird of the water, takes pleasure in digging into the lotus flowers. Its spotting proclivity is to enter the lotus flower. Maharaj Kulashekara says to the Lord, now my mind is undisturbed and I am quite healthy. If I die immediately thinking of your lotus feet, then I am sure that my performance of your devotional service will become perfect. But if I have to wait for my natural death, then I do not know what will happen, because at that time the bodily functions will be disrupted, my throat will be choked up, and I do not know where I shall be able to chant your name. Better let me die immediately. Arjuna questions how a person can fix his mind on Krishna's lotus feet at such a time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So, three further questions. Adi Yajna. So, Srila Prabhupada writes that Yajna, Lord of sacrifice, as mentioned in Vedas. So, either it is Indra or Vishnu. So, this need to be cleared for Arjuna. Madhusudana. Madhusudana. This doubt should be clear. Like if you go to Rig Vedas, Rig Veda describes Yajna to be Vishnu. Yajna to be Indra. So this is a very pertinent question. This doubt should be slashed by Madhusudana. So Arjuna asking, who is Lord of sacrifice? So how does he live in the body? O Madhusudana. And how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport at the end that this story of Kulashekara, that he writes in Mukundmala Stotra. And you remember the sloka? What he prays? Very beautiful sloka. Remember? Krishna Tvadiya Pada Pankaja Panjarantam Adyaiva me Vishatu Manasa Rajahansa Prana Prayana Samay Kapavata Pittau Kantavarodhana Vitau Smaranam Kutaste. So Arjuna is very anxious to know the condition of those who are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness. What should be their position at that final moment? Because at the end of the life, the whole bodily functions, symptoms become very difficult. So what would be their situation? Those who remembers you at the remembers your whole life, what would be their situation? So the situation at the time of death becomes very unexpected. Could be anything. Maybe somebody would not be able to remember Krishna. So how divinity will be able to remember you at the time of death? That is the question. And this question, the last question, makes the almost a whole theme of 8th chapter. The whole theme of 8th chapter is based upon the last question of this particular last question of Arjuna. That how living entities would able to remember you, know you at the time of death. Next. So further, the third sloka and the fourth sloka is the answer of first 6 questions of Arjuna. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Svabhavodhyatma Uchyate Bhut Bhavodbhava Karo Visharga Karma Sangitaha. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman. And in eternal nature is called Adhyatma, the self. Action pertaining to the development of material bodies of the living entities is called karma or fruitive activities. I should be very keen while reading this translation. So what is Brahman? Transcendental living entity, soul is Brahman, indestructible. The eternal nature, the Sanatan nature of the self is Adhyatma, and the process, the activities by which living entities takes up different bodies, or they grow into their bodies, that is called karma, the fruitive activities. Purport.
Brahman is indestructible and eternally existing, and its constitution is not changed at any time. But beyond Brahman, there is Parabrahman. Brahman refers to the living entity, and Parabrahman refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The constitutional position of the living entity is different from the position he takes in the material world. In material consciousness, his nature is to try to be the Lord of matter. But in spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness, his position is to serve the Supreme. When the living entity is in material consciousness, he has to take on various bodies in the material world. That is called karma, or varied creation by the force of material consciousness. In Vedic literature, the living entity is called Jivatma and Brahman, but he is never called Parabrahman. The living entity, Jivatma, takes different positions. Sometimes he merges into the dark material nature and identifies himself with matter, and sometimes he identifies himself with the superior spiritual nature. Therefore, he is called the Supreme Lord's marginal energy. According to his identification with material or spiritual nature, he receives a material or spiritual body. In material nature, he may take a body from any of the 84 lakh species of life. But in spiritual nature, he has only one body. In material nature, he is manifested sometimes as a man, demigod, animal, beast, bird, etc. According to his karma, to attain material heavenly planets and enjoy their facilities, he sometimes perform sacrifices, yajna. But when his merit is exhausted, he returns to earth again in the form of a man. This process is called karma. The Chandogya Upanishad describes the Vedic sacrificial process. On the sacrificial altar, 5 kinds of offerings are made into 5 kinds of fire. The 5 kinds of fire are conceived of as the heavenly planets, clouds, the earth, man, and woman, and the 5 kinds of sacrificial offerings are faith, the enjoyer on the moon, rain, grains, and semen. In the process of sacrifice, the living entity makes specific sacrifices to attain specific heavenly planets and consequently reaches them. When the merit of sacrifice is exhausted, the living entity descends to earth in the form of rain, then takes on the form of grains, and the grains are eaten by man and transformed into semen, which impregnates a woman, and thus the living entity once again attains the human form to perform sacrifice, and so repeat the same cycle. In this way, the living entity perpetually comes and goes on the material path. The Krishna conscious person, however, avoids such sacrifices. He takes directly to Krishna consciousness and thereby prepares himself to return to Godhead. Impersonalists, commentators on the Bhagavad Gita unreasonably assume that Brahman takes the form of Jiva in the material world. And to substantiate this, they refer to chapter 15, verse 7 of the Gita. But in the verse In this verse, the Lord also speaks of the living entity as an eternal fragment of myself, the fragment of God. The living entity may fall down into the material world, but the Supreme Lord, Achyuta, never falls down. Therefore, his assumption that the Supreme Brahman assumes the form of Jiva is not acceptable. It is important to remember that in Vedic literature, Brahman, the living entity, is distinguished from Parabrahman, the Supreme Lord.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Kunju Prabhu. So, this Adi Akshar, what is this chapter? Sorry, Aksharam Brahma Paramam Sabhava Adhyatma Chate Bhut Bhavot Bhavakaro Visarga Karma Sangita. So, Aksharam Brahma. Aksharam means the Aksharam means destructible, Aksharam means indestructible, which is not destructible. So, what is Brahman? In the indestructible living entity is Brahman. The soul proper is Brahman. Then what is Adhyatma? Aksharam Brahma, Paramam Svabhava Adhyatma. What is Paramam Svabhava? The eternal nature of the Jiva, soul. What is the eternal nature of soul, Prabhu? To serve Krishna. So this is Adhyatma. Adhyatmam Uchyate. Paramam Svabhava Adhyatmam Uchyate. The transcendental eternal nature of the soul is Adhyatma. And then what is karma? Bhut bhav udbhav kara. Means bhut means living entities having gotten this material body. It's bhut bhav. How they are getting different bodies? According to their different bhava, right? Somebody have bhava of divine bhava of demigods, they get demigods body. If somebody gets the bhava of animal, then they get bhava of animal, they get to the animal body. Right? Somebody gets the bhava of human beings, they remain on the earthly planet. Or somebody gets bhava of Krishna bhavanamrita. So then they get to Krishna consciousness, so they go to Krishna loka. So usually living entities, they do activities which creates their bhava, udbhav. Bhava ki udbhav karta hai. Bhut bhav udbhav karaha. And that is what's called karma. So different activities gets them to different bhava. So visarga karma sangita. So visarga means the creation of secondary creation, right? Sarga means primary creation, visarga means secondary creation. So there is a cycle of secondary creation taking place according to the karma of living entities. So accordingly, living entities are just getting into a cycle of continuous chain of visarga. Continuously they are changing their bodies. So that is karma, as mentioned here by Srila Prabhupada. And very interestingly, how karma takes place for the karma kandi people is mentioned in Chandogya Upanishad. So it is technical, but it's very easy to understand. So if you go to this section of purport where it's mentioned that how living entities they take birth, they do karma kanda, and how they rotate in this material universe. So if you go to this section of this purport, could you go scroll a little down, Prabhu? I mean, you have to go up where it's mentioned Chandogya Upanishad. Abhiram Chaitanya Prabhu. Okay. Wait, here, this. Chandogya Upanishad. Chandogya Upanishad describes the Vedic sacrificial process. When the sacrificial altar, 5 kinds of offerings are made into 5 kinds of fire. So 5 kinds of fire. What are the 5 kinds of fire? What are the 5 kinds of offering? 5 kinds of fire are conceived of as heavenly planet. 1. Second fire is cloud. Third fire is earth. Fourth fire is man and woman. And the 5 kind of sacrificial fire is faith. Right. The enjoyer and the sacrificial offerings are faith, enjoyer on the moon, rain, grains, and semen. Right. So offering should be put into where? Is fire is put into offering or offering is put into fire? Who can answer? Is fire is put in offering or offering?
Offering into fire.
Offering into fire.
Okay, fine. So I think all of you have seen Agnihotra sacrifices, at least in Mayapur Dham. So we don't put fire into offering, but we put offering into fire. So we see 5 offerings are there. So let's go to first offering. What is mentioned in the first offering? Faith. And then you connect to the first fire. What is the first fire? Prabhu, you need to be here to answer. You have to come down here in the purport of Srila Prabhupada. What is the first fire? What is the first fire mentioned in the line of fire described by Srila Prabhupada? 5 kinds of fire.
Heavenly planets.
Yes, thank you so much. So I need some prompt answers from all of you. So remain awake and alert. So this faith is put into heavenly planet, right? So people, they have faith upon heavenly planet. Nowadays, people don't even have faith upon heavenly planet. They're saying that everything is just this planet and there is nothing called heavenly planets. So people, they have faith in heavenly planet and they do activities, karma kandi activities to get that heavenly planet. So put faith into heavenly planet. Just like the offering into fire, similarly, faith into heavenly planets. Now, what is the second offering?
Clouds.
What is second offering? Offering. Second offering is enjoyer on the moon. That's why we need to be cautious. Enjoyer on the moon is the second offering. What is second fire?
Clouds.
That is cloud.
Okay. So now the person who had the faith in heavenly planet, they have reached to heavenly planet, and now when their heavenly tenure is over, they are thrown from heavenly planet into the cloud. Okay, the enjoyer on the moon is kicked off from heavenly planet into cloud, the same cloud what we see. So they are kicked, they are just like swaha, they are thrown into fire, they are thrown into the fire of clouds. So then comes, then they're thrown, then what comes? The third offering. What is third offering?
Earth, Prabhu.
Prabhu, please, please. See, once again, what I'm speaking, I'm telling offering. It is rain is offering, right? It is rain is offering. And what is the third fire?
Earth.
Earth is the third fire. So when the living entity goes into the cloud, a cloud turns into rain, and the rain becomes the offering, and that offering falls on the earth. So through rain, the living entity who was enjoying in heavenly planet gets into cloud, and cloud to the rain, and the rain then it gets into earth, right? So the living entity who was he was enjoying, they have come down again back to the earth. And how he comes down? Through rain, right? So through rain he comes in. And what's the fourth offering?
Grains.
Fourth offering grains. So through grains, the living entity, the soul, with his subtle body on, he gets into grain. The rain falls down on the earth. From earth, there are so much of plantation, so much of crops of maybe wheat or rice, paddy, and so on and so forth. So they get into grain. So the jiva gets into the grain. Then the grain is eaten by the man, of course. So now we are going to see. So now grain is the fourth offering. What is the fourth fire? Man. So grain is put into man, right? All of your man, we take grains, except Ekadasi, we take grain. So through grain, the living entity enters into man, right? The grain becomes the offering, and the fire becomes the man. And then the fifth offering is, what is fifth offering?
Semen.
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 So somebody takes the grain, then grain creates the semen, right? A man takes the grain creates semen, and the jiva enters into semen, right? So grain, of course, has a whole chain of living entity, how it passes. So semen and a fire becomes
Woman.
Woman.
so fire becomes woman. Semen is put into the woman. So woman become the fire, and semen become the offering. Then the living entity enters in the womb of a woman. So this is the whole chain of karma kanda, travel, karma kandiya travel, how living entities are just changing their bodies. So we are all had this, this chain of very sacrificial process of changing the body. In this way, living entities are moving around the sacrificial process. Okay, so now let's go to text, text 4, text 4. अधिभूतं क्षरो भाव पुरुषश्चादिदैवतम् अधियज्ञोऽहम् एवात्र देहे देहभृतां वर. Translation. O best of embodied beings, the physical nature, which is constantly changing, is called Adibhuta, the material manifestation. The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods, like those of the sun and moon, is called Adidaiva. And I, the Supreme Lord, represented as the Super Soul in the heart of every embodied being, am called Adiyagya, the Lord of Sacrifice. Hare Krishna, purport. Once again, I like to request devotees, kindly keep your videos open. And if you are having your videos closed for more than 10 minutes, you will find yourself out of the meeting. Hare Krishna. Purport. Please read purport.
The physical nature is constantly changing. Material bodies generally pass through 6 stages. They are born, they grow, they remain for some duration, they produce some byproducts, they dwindle, and they vanish. This physical nature is called Abhibhuta. It is created at a certain point and will be annihilated at a certain point. The conception of the universal form of the Supreme Lord, which includes all the demigods and their different planets, is called Adi Devata, and present in the body along with the individual soul is the Super Soul, a plenary representation of Lord Krishna. The Super Soul is called the Paramatma or Adhiyagya and is situated in the heart. The word Eva is particularly important in the context of this verse because by this word the Lord stresses that the Paramatma is not different from him. The Super Soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, seated beside the individual soul, is the witness of the individual soul's activities and is the source of the soul's various types of consciousness. The Super Soul gives the individual soul an opportunity to act freely and witness his activities. The functions of all these different manifestations of the Supreme Lord automatically become clarified for the pure Krishna conscious devotee engaged in transcendental service to the Lord. The gigantic universal form of the Lord, called Adi Advaita, is contemplated by the neophyte, who cannot approach the Supreme Lord in his manifestation as the Super Soul. The neophyte is advised to contemplate in the universal form, or Virat Purusha, whose legs are considered the lower planets, whose eyes are considered the sun and moon, and whose head is considered the upper planetary system.
Thank you so much, Nishank. So now we are going to discuss a little bit about very little more deeply what are this Adibhuta, Adidaiva, and Adiyagya. So what is being told here? Physical nature is constantly changing. Material body generally pass through 6 stages. So this is called Adibhuta. Now suppose like I take upon the case of who is there visible? Madhav Brajvalla Prabhu. So Madhav Brajvalla Prabhu, I am able to see you. So I am asking Aviram Chatan Prabhu, what is Adi Bhuta of Madhav Brajvalla Prabhu? What is Adi Bhuta?
Physical nature.
Yes?
Physical nature.
What is the physical nature, Prabhu?
The physical nature, the material world. This material world is called the physical nature, which we can see.
Yeah, correct. So what we are able to see here with the eyes, the body with two eyes, nose, the mouth, the teeth, the ears, which is just a manifestation of dead material elements when it comes with connection with Adhyatma. What is Adhyatma of Madhav Brajvalla Prabhu? Adhyatma. What is Adhyatma? Come on, who will say? Achyuta Gautam Prabhu. You are Adhyatma
Adhyatma,
with. Yes?
Adhyatma, the self, Prabhuji.
The self. If the self is
Hmm.
Adhyatma, then what is Brahman? Yes.
Yes.
So Brahman is the soul proper. Soul proper is Brahman. Right? And Adhyatma is the eternal characteristics of the soul. Right? That is Adhyatma. Eternal characteristic of the soul is what? To be eternal servant of Krishna. That is Adhyatma. Right? So that is, or we can say the nature of the soul, the characteristics of the soul. Soul is Brahman, but characteristic of the soul is Adhyatma. No, it is conscient, it is eternal, it is blissful. So this is Adhyatma. Then Adibhuta is the material body which is over the soul. And what is Adidaiva? Adidaiva is the whole Virat Purusha, in which we are also one of the part of it, Virat Purusha. The whole universal form of the Lord in the universe, Virat Purusha. And different body is represented by different devatas. There are daivatas. But Adi Daivata is Virat Purusha. Right? For our bodies also, everything is connected with different devatas. And for every element also, we have a connection with devata. Like suppose this nose, which is Adibhuta. Nose is Adibhuta. For the nose, who is Adi Daivata? Ashwini Kumaras. So for the whole body, Virat Purusha is Adi Daivata. And super soul is called Paramatma, is Adi Yagya. Okay, so Adi Yagya is Paramatma, super soul. Is it clear or is there a confusion behind it? Is it clear, Prabhu?
Yes,
Anything you
clear.
see in the world, everything is having this connection. Adhyatma, Adibhuta, Adidaiva, and Adiyagya. There's four connection everywhere, right? In every anything like air. The air itself, what we see, this is Adibhuta. Then the air, there is personification of the predominating deity of the air. So that predominating deity, the air is Adhyatma. So then Adidaiva. Adidaiva for the this Vayu Devi is this Virat Purusha himself. And also Paramatma is there with this Vayu Dev, like that. Even the Pahad, Patthar, everything is actually having connection with Adi Daiva, ultimately. In this way, everything is connected with Adi Daiva and Adi Yagya. Srila Prabhupada writes that this Virat Purusha is for the neophytes. Gigantic universal form of the Lord Adi Devata is contemplated by the neophyte. who cannot approach the Supreme Lord in his manifestation as super soul. Yeah. So the neophyte, whose heart is not so pure, they take to meditation upon Virat Purusha. Rather, going to super soul meditation with super soul, they go to Virat Purusha. And when they purified by meditating upon Virat Purusha for many, many years, then they go to meditate upon super soul. They may go to meditate upon super soul. So, okay, fine. Next. Text 5. So now this is the last question. Answer starts from here by the Lord. Text number 5. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yah priyati samadbhavam yati nastyatra sanshayah. Translation. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body remembering me alone at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. Purport. Purport.
Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. In this
Other
verse,
devotees, other devotees also you can give some opportunity to read. You have not yet read. We see here some more devotees not yet read.
okay.
Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, the importance of Krishna consciousness is stressed. Everyone who quits his body in Krishna consciousness is at once transferred to the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is the purest of the pure. Therefore, anyone who is constantly Krishna conscious is also the purest of the pure. The word smaran, remembering, is important. Remembrance of Krishna is not possible for the impure soul who has not practiced Krishna consciousness in devotional service. Therefore, one should practice Krishna consciousness from the very beginning of life. If one wants to achieve success at the end of his life, the process of remembering Krishna is essential. Therefore, one should constantly, incessantly chant the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Lord Chaitanya has advised that one be as tolerant as a tree, Tarorapi Sahishtuna. There may be so many impediments for a person who is chanting Hare Krishna. Nonetheless, tolerating all these impediments, one should continue to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, so that at the end of one's life, one can have the full benefit of Krishna consciousness.
Hare Krishna. Did you complete, Prabhu? Madhav Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. It is finished, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. So we see the root of our Krishna consciousness movement is there in this sloka, right? The whole Krishna consciousness movement is the name of Krishna consciousness society is named upon this particular sloka. International Society for Krishna Consciousness, Krishna Chaitana, thinking about Krishna, right? Srila Prabhupada writes, and this is not possible. Remembrance of Krishna is not possible for the impure soul who has not practiced Krishna consciousness in devotional service. Therefore, one should practice Krishna consciousness from the very beginning of his life. Right. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram ya prayati samadbhavam yati nasti atra sansaya. Antakale cha, at the end of the life, ya prayati, who leaves the body remembering me, mameva smaran, so surely he will attain me. Ya prayati samadbhavam, Mad Bhavam, Krishna Bhava. He will attain to Krishna consciousness. So this is not possible for those who are impure souls, those not yet purified. Right? The process of remembrance of Krishna, Srila Prabhupada writes, what is that? Chant the holy name of Krishna. So when you chant the holy name of Krishna, then remembrance of Krishna should be just the consequence of chanting the holy name, right? Chanting the holy name should make us remember Krishna, isn't it, Prabhu? What do you think? It's not like like just blabbering something. Hare Krishna. But we really chant the holy name and keep chanting the holy name as Prabhupada tells incessantly. In 16 rounds on the beat and unlimited rounds off the beats. Chanting should be done in such a way that we are able to remember the name of the Lord incessantly, the form of the Lord incessantly, the qualities of the Lord incessantly. Suppose somebody is like Arjuna also, he never had this opportunity to chant the holy name on the beads, right? Have you seen Arjuna chanting the beads and shooting the arrows? But we have this practice. Why this practice that we have, that we can chant the holy name on the beads for number of rounds? Then off the beads, we are already Krishna conscious, right? How many of you had this experience that you have attended some Bhagavatam class or Sankirtan or the Kirtan Mela or nice chanting you have done? So in the background of your mind, the Harinam is already going on always. How many of you had this experience? Maybe some of you had the experience. Yeah. So this is what Krishna wants. This is what Krishna wants, that we should be always Krishna conscious. It's not just morning time Krishna conscious, then evening time something else conscious. This is the test. This is the process by which we will able to guarantee our success at the end of life. Because if we are not purified our existence by having taken Krishna consciousness, purification is not something which is away from the process of Krishna consciousness. I will purify myself one day, then I will be able to remember Krishna. It's not like that. Remembering Krishna, chanting the names of Krishna, remembering the names of Krishna itself purifies the soul. It's not like we need to separately do something. Prabhu, I am an impure soul. I have kama dinam so much in my heart. How could I remember Krishna? Just remember Krishna. Just like that. That will purify us. So purification is needed, but slowly when we are trying to deliberately get into Krishna consciousness, deliberately thinking about Krishna, deliberately chanting the names of the Lord. Okay, I have to chant the name of the Lord. I have to chant. I have to read Srila Prabhupada books, which enables me to think about Krishna. I have to read Srila Prabhupada books. So by doing so, such activities, this Krishna consciousness becomes the integral part of our existence. But actually it is so. We are just have forgotten this. Forgetting Krishna is not natural for the jiva, for the pure soul. It's not natural. Forgetting Krishna is artificial for the pure soul. So that's why we have to come to our natural position of getting the position of remembering Krishna always. Somebody may say, Prabhu, I'm not able to think about Krishna. But it's not natural. We are not able to think about Krishna. So then somebody lives like that. Then what happens? He will be able to remember the end of the life also. Lord, as in Bhagavad Gita, one of the lectures, Prabhupada tells Bhagavad Gita, this 8.1, the same chapter, first sloka, in Geneva, he has given the lecture. Srila Prabhupada writes, Srila Prabhupada speaks, the end of the life, Antkalecha Mam Eva, certainly Smaran, you will remember Krishna. So deity worship is especially meant for this purpose. So that you go on worshipping the deity of Radha and Krishna, then you will be able to think of Radha Krishna always within your heart. This practice is needed. This practice is needed, that we are always thinking Radha and Krishna in the sense of belongingness to Radha and Krishna, and also thinking that Radha Krishna belongs to us, belongs to me, right? So this belongingness should arise in the heart of devotees, and they should remain in the heart of the devotees incessantly. Then that person is guaranteed to get to that Madhbhava. Means Krishna's nature. Krishna nature means abode of the Lord. Take 6. Take 6. Prabhu, are you sharing? Abhishek Prabhu? Abhishek Prabhu, Abhishek Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam त्यजति ante kalevaram tam tamaveti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitah. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. Purport.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Who is speaking?
Achyuta. Asoka.
Achyuta Ashokatma Prabhu? Yes.
The process of changing one's nature at the critical moment of death is here explained. A person who at the end of his life quits his body thinking of Krishna attains the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. But it is not true that a person who thinks of something other than Krishna attains the same transcendental state. This is a point we should note very carefully. How one can die in the proper state of mind. Maharaj Bharata, although a great personality, thought of a deer at the end of his life. And so in his next life, he was transferred into the body of a deer. Although as a deer, he remembered his past activities. He had to accept that animal body. Of course, one's thoughts during the course of one's life accumulating influence one's thought at the moment of death. So this life creates one's next life. In one's life, one lives in the mode of goodness and always think of Krishna. It is possible for one to remember Krishna at the end of one's life. That will help one to be transferred to the transcendental nature of Krishna. If one is transcendentally absorbed in Krishna's service, then his next body will be transcendental, spiritual, not material. Therefore, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare is the best process for successfully changing one's state of being at the end of one's life. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So Srila Prabhupada makes it clear that it's not like you remember anything at the time of death and you will attend to Krishna. So yam, jo, whatever, smaran, bhavam, whatever you think, the bhava becomes like that, right? If somebody is seeing the fighting between two WWE champions, what will become his bhava? That he also want to fight, right? If you suppose he see the movie, some red blue movie, so bhava will fully change, right? Because he thinks about that. So whatever activity, whatever thing we speak, whatever thing we think, everything starts from there. Specifically, whatever we speak, right? Sometimes we happen to speak so much about our Indian politics. Suppose somebody talking 2, 3, Indian politics, this and that. I like this man, I like that. And whole thinking starts from there. You cannot be speaking something else and thinking about something else, right? Is it possible? This only happens in chanting the holy name. So when you chant the holy name, you speak Hare Krishna, but rather we don't think about Radha Krishna because we are forgetful of Krishna. But as soon as you talk about some mundane people, avastha vastu, their body, adhyatma, what we are not able to see, and their adibhuta is completely different than each other. But we get so much obsessed with that conception, bhava, avinivesh, and we think about that temporary material object. And this is our greatest loss, actually, which are not we are not actually think about. We are always supposed to think about Radha and Krishna. So we need to think about Radha and Krishna. That's why it's meant. Then only we'll attend to Radha and Krishna. And that is very, very easily done by chanting the names of Radha and Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So there is no shortcut, right? No shortcut. Prabhuji, I just chanted Hare Krishna. So I will attend Goloka Vrindavan. No, Baba, chanting Hare Krishna, and you have to remember also Krishna. It's not like you chanted Hare Krishna. Bharat Maharaj did so much of yajna and so on and so forth. But did he think about Krishna at the time of death? He thought about the deer, and he became deer. He could not become deer to Krishna, he could become deer. Similarly, if we do not think about Krishna, then we won't able to become dear to Krishna. So to think about Krishna, everybody gives, unless we give the heart. Giving heart means giving mind, right? Heart mind is almost spoken about synonymously. Heart and mind is spoken like to be like. That's a lot of Manmanava, right? Manmanava. Why is telling Manmanava? He would have told something else. So everything comes upon thinking about Krishna. Mama mana mana dire raho nisidina. Krishna Murari, Sri Krishna Murari. So the conclusion comes here. Lord tells what Arjuna is supposed to do in text 7. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanushmara yudhyacha mai arpit mano buddhir mamevasya sanshayah. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna. And at the same time, carry out a prescribed duty of fighting. Right? So Lord is telling you to think about Krishna. Because only thinking is something, thinking is an act that could be done while doing any other thing, right? But no, we may not able to chant also at the time of fighting. But we're not able to do duty worship at the time of fighting. And Lord is not telling that you do duty worship and at the same time fight. Lord is not telling that. Lord is telling, think about me and at the same time fight. Lord is not telling that you go to holy places and fight. Of course, they have gone to Kurukshetra and they're fighting holy place. So, but thinking is very, very crucial because thinking is something that could happen at every time. Because mind can think about Krishna at every time. At the same time, the physical senses, working senses could be engaged in any other work, supposedly any other work. Here Arjuna is fighting on behalf of Krishna. So like this is the symptom, that's the nature of fighting for someone. We should think about someone for whom we are fighting, for whom we are acting. That's what is Krishna consciousness. Devotional service in Krishna consciousness means we are doing any service, anything, but for whom we are doing? For Krishna we are doing. So when we are doing for Krishna, then we should think about Krishna, right? So then it becomes like doing for Krishna. Otherwise, we are doing devotional service for what purpose? For my own name and fame, or for showing off that I am such a great devotee, or this and that. So that is not Krishna consciousness. Seemingly from outside, maybe somebody could be, look like, oh my God, he's doing such a great service. But what service is being done, it depends upon what is the nature of his mind, where his mind is. If his mind is there in the lotus feet of Krishna, he is perfected soul. But while doing any type of service, his mind is not there, not in the Krishna, then that is not the perfection of the service, right? So that's why Lord is telling to think about first then fight. With your activity dedicated to me, Mayapur, Mano. Mayapur Mano means mine is there at the Lord Sri Krishna. Mano Buddhi, intelligence fixed on me. You will attain me without a doubt. Asanseha Mam IFSC. Purport.
Hare Krishna. The instructions to Arjuna is very important for all men engaged in material activities. The Lord does not say that one should give up his prescribed duties or engagements. One can continue them and at the same time think of Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna. This will free one from material contamination and engage the mind and intelligence in Krishna. By chanting Krishna's name, one will be transferred to the supreme planet Krishna Loka, which is without a doubt. Right.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Once again, dear devotees, you might be thinking about Krishna, but you could better think about Krishna keeping your video open. Hare Krishna. Keep your video open. Keep your video open. Text 8. Abhyasa yoga yuktena cetasa nanigamina paramam purusham divyam yati parthanu chintayan. Translation. He who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, he, O Partha, is sure to reach me. So, Lord is telling the same thing again and again, right? How much important is to think about Krishna, and that's what it shows. Same thing again is telling different ways. So make it make it to understand that, Baba, you need to think about me. Who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, he, O Partha, is sure to reach me. Purport.
In this verse, Lord Krishna stresses the importance of remembering him. One's memory of Krishna is revived by chanting the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna. By this practice of chanting and hearing the sound vibration of the Supreme Lord, one's ear, tongue, and the mind are engaged. This mystic meditation is very easy to practice, and it helps one attain the Supreme Lord. Purusham means enjoyer. Although living entities belong to the marginal energy of the Supreme Lord, they are in material contamination. They think themselves enjoyers, but they are not the Supreme Enjoyer. Here it is clearly stated that the Supreme Enjoyer is the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his different manifestations and plenary expansions as Narayana, Vasudeva, etc. The devotee can constantly think of the object of worship, the Supreme Lord in any of his features, Narayana, Krishna, Rama, etc., by chanting Hare Krishna. This practice will purify him, and at the end of his life, due to his constant chanting, he will be transferred to the kingdom of God. Yoga practice is meditation on the super soul within. Similarly, by chanting Hare Krishna, one fixes his mind on the Supreme Lord. The mind is fickle, and therefore it is necessary to engage the mind by force to think of Krishna. One example often given is that the caterpillar thinks of becoming a butterfly and so is transformed into a butterfly in the same life. Similarly, if we constantly think of Krishna, it is certain that at the end of our lives we shall have the same bodily constitution as Krishna.
Hare Bol, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yes. So we need to think about Krishna because Krishna is the Purusham. Krishna is the enjoyer. We are to be enjoyed. But when we forget Krishna, when we think about ourselves to be the enjoyer, right? We think ourselves to be the Purusha. Then we think about the thing what we need to enjoy, right? But when we think ourselves to be enjoyed, then we also know that by whom we are going to be enjoyed, right? We are going to be enjoyed by Purusha. Who is Purusha? Krishna is Purusha. We are to be enjoyed by Purusha. So usually living entities, when they fall down into this position of enjoying attitude. As like Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami tells, what he tells? Krishna bolia jeev bhagavancha kare nikatastha maya tare jhaputiya dhore. Jhaputiya dhore means as soon as living entity forgets Krishna, immediately he thinks that he is Purusha. Krishna is not Purusha, he is Purusha. And bhagavancha kare. Then he starts thinking about the sense objects which he can enjoy. Right? He forgets Krishna. Then he think himself to be Purusha. He want to enjoy. Then he thinks about what to be enjoyed. What to be enjoyed? The Vishaya. What as soon as he thinks about Vishaya, he immediately comes under clutches of Maya. Jhapotiya dhore. And in this way, his chain of suffering starts. Krishna bolia Jivan adir bahirmukh Maya Tarjanya Maya de Sansar Adi Dukh. So he gets a lot of suffering by Maya. And in this way. So what is the remedy? We need to force our mind to think about Krishna. Srila Prabhupada tells very, very clearly. In beginning, your mind will not go to Krishna. Mind will go to Vishaya. Because the nature of becoming Purusha is very, 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 very like Brahma ki lakir. For many, many millions and trillions of lifetimes, we have been practicing becoming Purusha. How it will just go away in just one lifetime? It is difficult, but it's not so difficult. It is easy also when we choose very deliberately by our mind to think about Krishna. Anything happens, think about Krishna. That's why it's the mandate that always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna, right? So mind is fickle and therefore it is necessary to engage the mind by force. By force, Srila Prabhupada is telling. It's not anybody else, but Srila Prabhupada is telling. It will engage the mind by force to think about Krishna. Think about Krishna. Yena kena prakarena. Kisi bhi prakar se think about Krishna. So one example often given, caterpillar that think of becoming butterfly. And so he transformed into butterfly in the same life. So this is the example. This is a Nyaya, one of the Nyaya, the Sanskrit terminology I am not remembering. So if anybody thinks about anybody else, he becomes like him or her, right? So this is the science. In the villages, if you find there are mud walls, mud houses. And mud houses, this caterpillar is kept captive to be eaten by butterfly. So the caterpillar like worm, and this butterfly, because it can fly, it has the wings. So the caterpillar always thinking about his enemy butterfly which flies. So thinking about the butterfly, the caterpillar also turns himself into butterfly. So this is a nyaya is given. So somebody may say that Prabhuji, it is a biological transformation, what do we say? Anthropomorphism. So anyway, any caterpillar will turn into butterfly, whether you think about it or not. But we need to understand the spirit behind this analogy given by Srila Prabhupada, that thinking process is very, very vital. That only going to give us a different bodies in our future life. Okay, so let's go to text 9. Now Krishna next tells how he can be remembered. Text 9. Kavim Puranam Anushasitaram Anoraniyam Samanushmaredyah Sarvasya Dhataramachintarupam Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parastam. Translation. One should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything, as he who is oldest, who is a controller, who is smaller than the smallest, who is a maintainer of everything, who is beyond all material conception, who is inconceivable, who is always a person. He is luminous like the sun, and he is the transcendental beyond this material nature. Okay, Parpat?
ఇక్కడ ఇది పోవచ్చా
His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The process of thinking of the Supreme is mentioned in this verse. The foremost point is that he is not impersonal or void. One cannot meditate on something impersonal or void. That is very difficult. The process of thinking of Krishna, however, is very easy and is factually stated herein. First of all, the Lord is Purusha, a person. We think of the person Rama and the person Krishna. And whether one thinks of Rama or of Krishna, what he is like is described in this verse of Bhagavad Gita. The Lord is Kavi, that is, he knows the past, present, and future, and therefore knows everything. He is the oldest personality because he is the origin of everything. Everything is born out of him. He is also the supreme controller of the universe, and he is the maintainer and instructor of humanity. The living instructor of the humanity. He is the smaller than the smallest. The living entity is 1/10,000th part of tip of the hair, but the Lord is so inconceivably small that he enters into the heart of this particle. Therefore, he is called smaller than the smallest. As a supreme, he can enter into the atom and into the heart of the smallest and control him as a super soul. Although so small, he is still all pervading and is maintaining everything. By him, all these planetary systems are sustained. We often wonder how these big planets are floating in the air. It is stated here that the Supreme Lord, by his inconceivable energy, is sustaining all these big planets and systems of galaxies. The word achintya, inconceivable, is very significant in this connection. God's energy is beyond our conception, beyond our thinking jurisdiction, and is therefore called inconceivable, achintya. Who can argue this point? He pervades this material world and yet is beyond it. We cannot comprehend even this material world, which is insignificant compared to the spiritual world. So how can we comprehend what is beyond? Achintya means that which is beyond this material world, that which our argument, logic, and philosophical speculation cannot touch, that which is inconceivable. Therefore, intelligent persons, avoiding useless argument and speculation, should accept what is stated in the scriptures like the Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, and Srimad Bhagavatam, and follow the principles they set down. This will lead one to understanding.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So, how to think about Krishna? Lord himself is describing. You're not keeping anything abstract, something to be think about like light, or maybe some void, a zero, some mombati candle. No. Lord is describing how every jiva should think about him. Because thinking about Krishna is the point throughout the whole Bhagavad Gita. Lord is trying to emphasize upon jiva that you need to think about me. That one should think about Supreme Person, his person. Previously also it mentioned, right? Purusha. So how is this? Kavim, he knows everything. Puranam, he is the oldest person. Anusasitaram, he is the controller. Ano, Aniyam, he is the smaller than the smallest. So like this one should think about Krishna. He is Anor, Aniyam, Mahato Mahiyam. Ya Sarvasya Dhataram, he is the maintainer of everyone. Maintainer of even your friend, your enemy, everyone. Everybody is maintained by Krishna. Everybody has connection with Krishna. He is pervading every soul. It's not like soul and super soul is two person sitting separately. No, even though he's sitting separately, at the same time, Paramatma is pervading the soul also. We are also pervaded by Paramatma. So without his pervasion, we won't exist. So in this way, he's pervaded throughout all the Atmas. Yeah, Sarvasya Dhataram, he is the maintainer of everything. And how it is so? You don't need to figure it out because it's inconceivable. Achintya, achinta rupam. His form is achinta, inconceivable. Aditya varanam, luminous like the sun. Tamasah parastat, free and beyond all different darkness, all is transcendent to all darkness. So, like this, devotees should remember him, remember Krishna. So, this section, this section is 9, 10 slokas. So, this describes about like how this 10 sloka onwards is going to be described yoga mishra bhaktas, like those who want to return to the kingdom of God, but yet they have not become pure devotees yet. So how they could be able to get to that platform uh, by doing this yoga mishra bhakti. So from text 10 onwards, text 10, 11, 12, 13, 4 slokas, yoga mishra bhakti is described. So let's go to text 10. Abhiram Chaitanya Prabhu, you were are you able to share this screen? Are you in the position to share this?
Through my laptop just discharged.
Okay, fine.
Let me try.
I'll share. Sure. Okay. Text in. प्रयाणकाले मनसा चलेन भक्त्या युक्तो योगबलेन चैव भ्रुवोर्मध्ये प्राणम् आवेश्य सम्यक् सतं परं पुरुषम् उपैति दिव्यम्. Translation. One who, at the time of death, fixes his life here between the eyebrows and by the strength of yoga, with an undeviating mind, engages himself in remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion, will certainly attain to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So by the this technicalities only you could understand that this is not meant for Suddha Bhaktas. This is for Yoga Mishra Bhaktas. Purport. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Once again, alarm to all of you. Kindly keep your videos open. Kindly keep your videos open. I have to keep you reminding
Papa,
this.
in this verse, in this verse, it is clearly stated that the time of death, the mind must be fixed in the devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For those practiced in yoga, it is remembered that they raise the life force between the eyebrows to the Ajna Chakra. The practice of Sat Chakra Yoga involving meditation, the six chakras is suggested here. The pure devotee does not practice such yoga, but because he is always engaged in the Krishna consciousness, at that he can remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead by his grace. This is explained in this verse 14. The particular The particular use of word yoga balena is significant in this verse because without practice of yoga, whatever such chakra yoga or the bhakti yoga, one cannot come to the transcendental state of being at the time of death. One cannot suddenly remember the supreme personality at that. One must have practiced some yoga system, especially the system of bhakti yoga. Since one mind at yoga during one's life.
Abhiram Chetan Prabhu, are you done?
Yes, bro.
Okay, thank you. Sometimes there was a little glitch in your. Okay, fine. So this is called Sata Chakra Yoga. There are 6 chakras that we know. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the chakras, there are different names. Manipura chakra, then there are different chakras, forgetting the name. So when it comes like navel below navel there is one chakra, then above navel comes here, near heart is the second chakra, at the abdomen is the second chakra, then near heart is the third chakra, the fourth chakra is here at the neck, at the neck, and the fifth chakra comes here at the eyebrows, and the sixth one is here. This is called Brahmarandra chakra, or this is called, I don't know what chakra, but there's a sixth chakra here. So those who are dhyana yogis, so they practice this. They bring their life here from the Manipurak down to slowly till here. And from here they start meditating very fiercely upon the Supreme Lord. And then they break open the Brahmarandra here, the top chakra here. And from here the soul comes out. If the soul comes out successfully from this particular chakra, here on the top of our head, then that person will attain to a spiritual planet or a spiritual abode. So quite very tedious and very cumbersome thing, very much technical thing. But that also should be empowered by the process of remembering Krishna. That's what is mentioned here by the Lord. Bhaktya yukta yoga balena chaiva. Bhaktya, one should think about Krishna. Manasa achalena bhaktya yukta yoga balena. Manasa is in the mind, he should think about Krishna, right? Think about Krishna. Okay, so text 11. Text 11.
You want me to share, Prabhu, screen?
Oh, okay, next time. I just share it.
Okay.
If somebody there is. Text 11. Yadaksharam veda vido vadanti vishanti yattadayo vitaragaha yadichanto brahmacharyam charanti tatte padam sangrahena pravakshay. Translation. Persons who are learned in the Vedas, who utter Omkara, and who are great sages in the renounced order enter into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation. So this is salvation, right? So this is the process of Chakra Yoga that gives you salvation. Okay, so purport.
Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Lord Sri Krishna has recommended to Arjuna the practice of Satchakra Yoga, in which one places the air of life between the eyebrows. Taking it for granted that Arjuna might not know how to practice Satchakra Yoga, the Lord explains the process in the following verses. The Lord says that Brahman, although one without a second, has various manifestations and features, especially for the impersonalists. The Akshara or Omkara, the syllable Om is identical with the Brahman. Krishna here explains the impersonal Brahman into which the renounced order of sages enter. In the Vedic system of knowledge, students from the very beginning are taught to vibrate Om and learn of the ultimate impersonal Brahman by living with the spiritual master in complete celibacy. In this way, they realize two of Brahman's features. This practice is very essential for the student's advancement in the spiritual life. But at the moment, such brahmachari, unmarried celibate, life is not at all possible. The social construction of the world has changed so much that there is no possibility of one's practicing celibacy from the beginning of student life. Throughout the world, there are many institutions for different departments of knowledge, but there is no recognized institution which students can be educated in the brahmachari principles. Unless one practices celibacy, advancement in spiritual life is very difficult. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya has renounced, according to the spiritual injunctions for this age of Kali, that in this age, no process of realizing the Supreme is possible except the chanting of the holy names of the Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Thank you so much, Madhav Rajaballa Prabhu. Yeah. So, Brahmacharyam Charanti. It's not so easy nowadays, Srila Prabhupada writing. So, Yad Aksharam Veda Vido Vadanti. Aksharam means Omkara. Srila Prabhupada writes it. Yad Aksharam Veda Vida Vadanti. What the Veda Vida, the person who are very much convergent in Vedic knowledge, what do they say about Aksharam, to whom they address Aksharam? Vishanti yat yattaya vitaraga yat ichchanta brahmacharyam charanti. So they enter Vishanti yat yatayo vitaraga yat icchanto brahmacharyam charanti. Getting out from this all these material things, they renounce all those dualities. They get into renouncement of life and they practice complete celibacy. Te padam sangrahena pravakshe. So Lord is telling that now I'm going to tell you pravakshe. So I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation. So brahmacharya is really one of the most important factors in any spiritual school, so to speak, whether it is dhyana school, where it is a jnana school, or else it is a bhakti school. Yet the beauty of bhakti school is that one don't need to practice brahmacharya forcefully. It's not like he must be out of the society. He should stay in somewhere in the jungle to practice brahmacharya. Srila Prabhupada writes that it's a very easy way is recommended by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that anybody can stay at their own place and he may practice bhakti yoga by chanting Hare Krishna mantra. But yet brahmacharya is of a great importance. So by chanting Hare Krishna mantra means he will get to that position that for him brahmacharya will become like life and soul. I mean, he automatically he will able to follow this brahmacharya because he's getting the higher relationship, taste in relationship with Radha and Krishna. So then he will just leave it. I mean, just he will forego and just forget the lower taste of sexual activities, so to speak, which is much advertised and celebrated in the material world, which becomes like very, very insignificant for that devotee. Tucham. Yanmaitanaris sukhamit tucham. It becomes very insignificant. Then he automatically is a brahmachari. And he progresses toward that ultimate abode. Text 12. सर्वद्वाराणि संयम्य मनोहृदि निरुध्य च मूर्ध्याध्यायात्मनः प्राणम् अस्थितो योगधारणम्. Translation: the yogic situation is that of detachment from all sensual engagements, closing all the doors of the senses and fixing the mind on the heart and the life air at the top of the head. One establishes himself in yoga. So, closing all the doors of the senses. How many doors that we have of the senses? Who can say? How many doors do we have of the senses? Haribol. कितने दरवाजे हैं घर पे बताओ?
Nine doors.
9 doors are there. Fine. So these all doors need to be closed, and mind should be in the heart. Heart means on Krishna, and Krishna is there in the heart. And the life here should be here at the Brahmarandra, top chakra. And thus one should establish himself in yoga. So this is the whole practice of Ashtanga yoga. But bhakti is the main thing in this yoga mishra bhakti. Okay, purport. Purport, someone can read purport. On the board. Are you able to hear me, dear devotees?
No, now you are here. Now is okay.
Oh, okay. Can someone read the purport?
Yeah. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. To practice yoga as suggested here, one first has to close the doors of all sense enjoyment. This process is called pratyahara, or withdrawing the senses from the sense objects. The sense organs for acquiring knowledge, the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and touch, should be fully controlled and should not be allowed to engage in the self-gratification. In this way, the mind focuses on the super soul in the heart, and the life force is right to the top of the head. In the 6th chapter, this process is described in detail. But as mentioned before, this practice is not practical in this age. The best process in Krishna consciousness. If one is always able to fix his mind on Krishna in devotional service, it is very easy for him to remain in an undisturbed transcendental trance or in samadhi.
Ah, yeah. So this is not so easy process actually. The best process is Krishna consciousness. Always be fixed in the mind. The form of Krishna, the name of Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna. And that is the platform samadhi. Sarva Dwarini means the system is called Pratyahar. So Pratyahar is the one of the stage of Ashtanga Yoga, right? There are 8 stages of Ashtanga Yoga. Yam, Niyam, Ashan, Yam, Niyam, Ashan, Pranayam. Then the 5th comes what is called 5th Pratyahar. So in 5th, all the sensory activities gets inward. No more outward, inward. So after having done so, then one comes to the level of Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. So when Dharana happens, means Supreme Lord is put into the heart. The whole wholesome Supreme Lord, Chaturbhuj Narayana form is put into the heart, a conception of Narayana. And then in Dhyana, the yogi starts meditating upon every limb of the Lord, starting from the toenail of the Lord. Toenail, then the feet of the Lord, then the ankle of the Lord, then the leg of the Lord, then the thigh of the Lord, the navel of the Lord, abdomen of the Lord. Like this, he goes ahead. 4 arms of the Lord, neck of the Lord, face of the Lord. So like this, he starts meditating upon every limb. That's called dhyana. And then the meditation gets more and more intensified. Then he comes to the position of samadhi. So fully he gets merged into the continuous absorption into the Supreme Personality of God's form, samadhi. So that position could be readily attained, Srila Prabhupada is telling, by process of Krishna consciousness, always fixing the mind and serving Krishna. It is very easy for him to remain in an undisturbed transcendental trance or in samadhi. Text 13. What is the here? So in the technical language, yogic system pratyahara. Pratyahara means just the opposite. Now my eyes are engaged in seeing holy beauty. I have to retract from enjoying that beauty and must instead see inside beauty. That is pratyahara. Similarly, I have to hear the Omkara sound from within. So all the senses are to be stopped in their external activities That is the perfection of yoga. And concentrate the mind on Vishnu Murti, Manohridi. Manohridi and Ruddha is just arresting the mind with the heart. Murdhani. Adhyatmana pranam asito yoga dharanam. And this way, when we transfer the air life on the top of our head, that is the perfection of yoga. And a perfect yogi fixes up where he shall go. He puts the destination, like people, they put destination in Google map from here to destination. So by keeping the life air at the top of the head, thinking about Krishna, then he puts the destination where you want to go. If you want to go to Goloka, you can put this in Goloka and go to Goloka. Of course, you need to think about Krishna then. You cannot think about Narayana and you enter into Goloka. And it's not there. There are innumerable planets, and beyond the planets, there are spiritual world, yoga. The actual translation of yoga means the plus, just the opposite of minus. Okay, so this is the small excerpt from the lecture of Srila Prabhupada. Okay, let's go to text 13. Om ittekaksharam brahma vyaharan mamanuswaran ya prayati tyajandeham sayati paramam gatim. Translation. After being situated in this yoga practice and vibrating the sacred syllable Om, the supreme combination of letters, if one thinks of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planets. Perfect.
It is clearly stated that here that Om, Brahman, and Lord Krishna are not different. The impersonal sound of Krishna is Om, but the sound Hare Krishna contains Om. The chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is clearly recommended for this age. So if one quits his body at the end of life chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, he certainly reaches one of the spiritual planets. According to the mode of his practice, the devotees of Krishna enter the Krishna planet, Goloka Vrindavan. For the personalists, there are also innumerable other planets known as Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky, whereas the impersonalists remain in the Brahmajyoti.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. So, Hare Krishna contains Om. And if you practice chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and we happen to remember Krishna's names, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, at the time that we will enter into the spiritual planet called Goloka Vrindavan. Okay, so now Yoga Mishra Bhakti is explained by the Lord. So next section going to start. How one attached to yoga and liberation can remember him. Now next pure devotion service is going to be discussed by the Lord. From text 14 onwards, 14, 15, 16, 3 slokas, pure devotion service, khati, right? Pure devotion service is going to be described. So we shall take this section and the further 2 more sections are left in the next sitting, maybe next week. Hare Krishna. So we have 5 more minutes. Any comment? Any question from this particular section of our discussion? Okay, fine. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for kindly joining today's Bhakti Sastri course. The class here. And once again, I like to not request, it's a mandate that kindly keep your video open and keep your video open. Okay, so that I feel like, okay, I'm not just speaking to the impersonal light, but we are personal beings. So please be merciful upon me so that I could serve you in the best possible way. Thank you so much. Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.